Hey guys, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here are my picks for UFC 171, Hendricks versus Lawler. Alright, well, you guys know the drill. I'll post all my picks in the description below, but this video is strictly for the main card, and I can't wait to get to it. UFC 171 is going to be a sick pay-per-view. I'm really feeling every matchup on the main card except for Ovince and Preux versus Nikita Krylov. Whatever, it is what it is. Hopefully someone gets knocked out because I don't see that fight being utterly compelling if it goes to distance. Who knows? We'll see, but we'll just get it cracking with the main event, and that's between Johny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler for the welterweight championship. Alright, this is a very sick fight for the welterweight championship. That is, of course, vacant due to Georges St-Pierre taking some time off or going away for a while, whatever that means. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Johny Hendricks, I kind of have to pick him here. Taking a look at what he did to Georges St-Pierre, I feel like with his mixture of takedowns and being able to come forward with, those overhand rights and lefts, how do you not pick him against Robbie Lawler? Robbie Lawler has the stopping power of a heavyweight. We know this. He stopped Melvin Manhoff a few years ago. That was sick. That could happen to anyone. If Robbie Lawler hits you with one of those hooks or even a straight, any of those punches can put you down, lay you out. He's also kind of dynamic with some of his low kicks and knees, but Robbie Lawler, for the most part, just likes to throw punches. Johny Hendricks has to be careful if he's not just jabbing away at Robbie Lawler. As soon as this gets into a medium-distance striking match, Robbie Lawler can snap off one of those hooks, and it could be lights out for Johny Hendricks. However, I think Johny Hendricks, for the most part, is going to pick his spots, from the outside, just throwing jabs at Robbie Lawler, and occasionally coming in, trying to land a huge punch, and I think he's not going to get hit by a knee coming in or a hook in the process. Robbie could look to counter, and if he successfully does, then he's proved me wrong. I just don't think it's going to happen. What I see most likely happening, though, is Johny Hendricks pushing the pace, moving forward, and getting Robbie Lawler along the cage, taking him down from there, landing some dirty boxing. I think Robbie Lawler's really the type of fighter that needs to extend with his punches from medium distance to be effective with them. And I don't think he's going to be utterly effective in the clinch. I think that's where Johny Hendricks' wrestling is going to matter a lot. I think he can drop down for a double leg, not get elbowed to death while he's going for it as well. Eventually get it. And he's going to utilize good top control, although Robbie Lawler is very hard to keep down. And I think he's going to win for the most part via ground and pound over the course of whatever rounds it goes. And eventually I think Hendricks wins via TKO. I'm going to say it happens in round 4. Elbows, punches, a little bit of both, who knows. I just think that Johny Hendricks mixing it up with takedowns and from the outside kind of striking is going to win out for the most part. He'll set up his takedowns with that kind of striking, if not knock out Robbie Lawler already with that. We'll see, but again, Johny Hendricks on the ground via strikes, 4th round. But moving on, arguably number 1 contender match for that main event I just broke down. It's Carlos Condit versus Tyron Woodley, of course, also in welterweight. Tyron Woodley brings a lot to the table that Johny Hendricks did against Carlos Condit. Of course, his Division I wrestling. It's elite, but it hasn't exactly looked great in MMA compared to some other D1 wrestlers. Plus, Tyron Woodley gasses as well. Really, the only thing that's really impressive with Tyron Woodley in MMA is the fact that he has the stopping power almost like Johny Hendricks. I'm not sure if he hits quite as hard, but he hits really hard, and once he gets you down, he can finish you with a mad flurry. Woodley, you just don't want to get hit by that guy. But it's going to take a dump truck to finish Carlos Condit, at least with strikes. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. Tyron Woodley, what is he going to do? While they're on the feet, he actually nails Carlos without getting jabbed or something like that. I just think that's unlikely. Tyron also doesn't set up his takedowns very well. If he's looking to fake with that and then throwing an overhand, who knows? I just think Carlos Condit, for the most part, is going to win this via striking bike from the outside. Maybe he comes in occasionally and tries to land a flying knee or get exciting like that, or maybe fight Tyron in the plum. But I just think that Tyron is going to be a sitting duck from the outside. I don't think he's going to use his wrestling effectively. If he does, that's great. But even if he does he even have the cardio to do that effectively over the course of 3 rounds? I've never seen Tyron Woodley look effective with his wrestling thoroughly over the course of 3. It just hasn't looked clean to me. It's looked kind of sloppy. He's always had trouble trying to keep people down, even guys who aren't great off their back. Carlos Condit knows how to scramble, and he can land strikes from the bottom, and that's frustrating if you're Tyron Woodley. So I think Carlos Condit is going to overwhelm Tyron Woodley enough on the feet, and if it goes to the ground, he's either going to be scrambling or Woodley won't do a heck of a whole lot. I'm going to say, in the end, Carlos Condit wins this fight 29-28. And speaking of another decision, I think this one's going to be one as well. Diego Sanchez versus Myles Jury in lightweight. Diego Sanchez, what does he bring to the table? Of course, his heart, his will. He's going to keep moving forward, throwing sloppy strikes here and there, some kicks, and then his takedowns are pretty good as well. He can get taken down himself, but he is a good scrambler. Very good jiu-jitsu from Diego Sanchez. He's won grappling tournaments in the past. Very underrated grappler, if you ask me. It's just he prefers to just come forward and slug it out. He's a slugger as of late, and that could frustrate Myles Jury. I think that's what Diego Sanchez is likely to do. Myles Jury lost to a guy like Al Iaquinta on the Tough Show. That kind of frightens me. I think Diego's better than Al everywhere, and I think that Diego can frustrate Myles with that style in this fight. I think that Myles Jury can perhaps just jab away from afar, but I just think it's unlikely. Diego Sanchez is a hard guy to keep at bay. I know Martin Kampmann was able to do it over the course of the first 2 rounds in his fight versus Diego Sanchez. Just don't see Myles Jury likely doing that. I think Diego Sanchez moving forward and perhaps winning over the judges, maybe not the fans in the end. I think that's going to win him out. Diego Sanchez for the win. Just this kind of stuff moving forward, not exactly hurting Myles Jury. Maybe he does, and getting the occasional takedown off for the win. And moving on, another welterweight bout. This one's between Jake Shields and Hector Lombard. And hell, this could be a contender match for the #1 contender spot after. Who knows? Hector Lombard, of course, in his welterweight debut, knocked out Nate Marquardt, also a natural middleweight. That was kind of funny. And then, of course, Jake Shields. He's been kind of solid as of late. He beat Damian Maia in Brazil. That was huge. Out-grappled him in the key exchanges in that fight. That could happen to Lombard if Lombard is really complacent. Lombard is very flat-footed as a fighter for the most part. Kind of just likes to stalk you, hopefully land one of those rocket punches, those short straights or hooks. And that could happen to Jake Shields, and Shields will get knocked out. Who knows? We'll see. It's just Shields very smothering with his takedowns once he is able to drive you into the cage. If Lombard knew what was good for him, he shouldn't spend that much time training for the cage as far as being able to stop a takedown from there. He's a judo black belt. He should know how to just shake that guy off. Jake Shields is not exactly a strong fighter. He's a resilient, tenacious one, but I feel like Hector Lombard should be able to spin out of that or just separate somehow. His wizard game is very good. I think it's going to be effective against Jake Shields, at least in the earlier rounds. And I think that Hector is actually going to find some space to knock out Jake Shields. And Jake Shields is striking. It has improved, but still whack. His chin isn't as bad as I think some people think, but Hector Lombard hits hard. He can be accurate with his punches, and I think that he'll find a home for his punches on Jake Shields' face eventually, if not win via decision. So Hector Lombard via knockout, I think it's going to happen late in round 2. If Shields wins, though, that's not going to surprise me because he keeps doing that for the most part. Like, I thought Maia was going to beat him, and that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? But moving on, last fight of the main card that I'll talk about, of course, it's the one kicking off the main card. It's between Ovince Preux and Nikita Krylov. Like I care. None of these guys are going to amount to anything, at least in the top 15 world of the UFC light heavyweight division. I think that Ovince Preux is definitely the lankier fighter, so he should be able to keep Krylov at bay. Krylov's kind of sloppy as a striker himself. Ovince Preux also the more athletic guy. I think he's going to be the first to get off his punches, and eventually he's going to knock out Nikita Krylov because they are kicking off the main card. I think both of these guys are going to want to make a statement. And I think Ovince Preux eventually gets knocked out with either a head kick or, a straight right or left. We'll see, but I got Ovince Preux via knockout first round. And there it is, guys. That about does it for my picks for UFC 171, Hendricks versus Lawler. Please tell me who you think is going to win in the comment section below. Thumbs up for Johny Hendricks, thumbs down for Robbie Lawler, and I'll see you hopefully for a review. I cannot miss this card because it's going to be sweet. So thanks again for all the support. Deuces for all my supporters, bruises for all my haters, and take care. Peace.